Well, in the meantime, an independent investigation by a civil society organization, Good Governance Group, has uncovered a far more alarming layer to this story.
The investigation started on the 23rd. Middleman died on the 22nd.
He's a dead man walking.
He's not settled.
Mr. Gomo, I'm surprised that you are taking this position. If you understand what has happened in this government.
The chief of staff is a member of a gang of thieves. And I can say that categorically because I was the one who exposed when he stole $25,000 from a client in Atlanta, Georgia.
Anybody who understands the way the system works, we know that this is pure scam and forged document.
The man resisted.
And they say he's non-existent.
Yeah. So the man resisted. He thought that the man would be a pushover. You know, only God knows what I had been doing with other people like that.
GBAJABIAMILA filed for this case on the 17th, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5 days later, the man died.
The identity man said, no, I can't do that. And that was it.
By the time you watch this video to the very end, you will know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not fit to be the president of Nigeria. I want you guys to stay patient to watch this video to the very end and see how your president address issues of a corruptible agency and the chief of staff to him. The first thing a reasonable president will do is to disassociate himself and allow a free panel to investigate this issue. No, that is not what your president did. But before we get to the issue, now they are not buying the key suspects. They are buying them now. Everyone that can testify in courts how these people are corrupt, they don't buy them. Now VDM is now raising alarm. Man, I'm not going to buy Adeyemi Matthew, but I want you guys to watch.
All right, so in this case between the president chief of staff, GBAJABIAMILA, and the man who came out to say GBAJABIAMILA collected money from him to set up a government organization. The man's name is ADEYEMI Matthew. You see, my first interest in this case is this, right? First things first. I no one here say that man died mysteriously. That's the first thing. I no one here say Prince ADEYEMI Matthew died mysteriously. We don't want to hear that. So it is the duty of our security operative to protect that man with their own lives. Because you see this whole allegation, we Nigerians, we are interested and we need to get to the root of this matter. So we don't want to hear stories, say anything to the man. In short, a further message to the unknown gunmen. We don't want to say anything to the man. Do you understand? Because it is crazy enough to understand that the only man that seems to also have the truth died mysteriously. You understand? Which is the person of Babatunde or Tanimola. Do you understand? This is not the middleman. This is the person that it is said that he was the one that brokered the deal between the president chief of staff, GBAJABIAMILA, and Prince ADEYEMI Matthew. And this is the man that they said he collected all documentation as to the regards organizing this organization, where they seem to set it up to use to chop Nigeria money. You see, for me, the two of them, they're not too different from each other, first of all. You understand? You know the case of Jesus Christ died with the 2 thieves. Now Nigeria with the Jesus Christ. I don't know with the 2 thieves. Do you understand? You where they pay money first. And who collect money? We won't know how the thing take happen. So nothing should happen to him. Now, why they talk this thing? Now how the middleman take die? Now maybe they talk, right? According to the police investigation report, Mr. GBAJABIAMILA reported the case alleging forgery and impersonation to the Inspector General of Police in a letter dated 17 October 2025. Right? After this letter, police now started an investigation. On the 23rd of October 2025, the IGP assigned the IGP monitoring unit to conduct a discreet investigation into the matter. But let me take you back. This investigation started on the 23rd. Middleman died on the 22nd of October. But GBAJABIAMILA filed for this case on the 17th, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 5 days later, the man died. Then on the 23rd, police conducted discreet investigation. And how did they say the man died? That the man died in a hotel. They say Kachi Hotel in Utako, according to the report. Not sure. They said he died in a hotel. Do you understand? That he died in the hotel, there was a fire and blah, blah, blah. Make this other one where they are alive. make it not just die mysteriously.
Now you listen to what VDM said. Nothing should happen to Adeyemi Matthew because if they buy him now, the case is closed. All Nigerians should add voice to this because the main middleman are dog by. There's not one against one. There's no how this one can defeat this one because this one have all the federal might in his back. This one is just alone. But I want you guys to watch this VOP TV. What Barrister Dality said. We'll be right back.
Femi wanted to show the man that he has power. That was why when he refused to give him that money, he said, who are you to challenge me? Do you know that I'm the one that created you and that ministry? You must give me that money. And the man resisted.
And they say he's non-existent.
Yeah. So the man resisted. He thought that the man would be a pushover. You know, only God knows what I had been doing with other people like that. The man said, no, I can't do that. And that was it. So for him to disobey with GBAJABIAMILA is an affront. And so without even thinking, what we call emotional intelligence, he didn't have it. GBAJABIAMILA thought that when he go on air and talk, people will say, this man, you know, EFCC kill him and all that. He didn't know that the man is ahead of them. He had all the documents, all the evidence, and he blew it up open. That was where GBAJABIAMILA got shocked and started fighting for his own life. That is just the truth.
Is he really fighting for his own life? He still occupies that position in Aso Rock.
What is
as the chief of staff to the president? Shouldn't the president excuse him?
There is something that there's one film they call Dead Man Walking. It's a film. When people are going to the gas chamber, you see them walking through a narrow gate, and the man will be announcing in front of him, dead man walking, dead man walking. So GBAJABIAMILA
is a dead man walking.
Is not settled.
Mr. Gomo, I'm surprised that you are taking this position. If you understand what has happened in this government, you know, you think that Femi will come
He's also been accused of job racketeering.
Of course.
And the president, you know, cleared him.
I said their cup is full. That's just this explanation here. Femi's cup is full. Even TINUBU is even unsettled because this thing will drag him down. I don't know how he's going to conduct this 2027 campaign.
Exactly my point.
I don't know how we do it.
Now you listen to what Barrister Dality said. I also want you guys to listen to this particular video of Arise TV News on how they may break down about these whole issues, and we'll be right back.
Now, to a new explosive details that are emerging in the presidency's fake agency scandal, and they are raising far more questions than the presidency's statement has answered. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Temitope Ajayi, has confirmed that the police established Adeyemi's appointment letter was forged, stating that the chief of staff to the president, Femi GBAJABIAMILA, does not issue appointment letters and that only the secretary to the government of the federation does, making Adeyemi's claim a red flag from the start. Let's take a look.
We don't know yet how he got a forged letter of appointment. It is clear, I've seen the police report, that the signature of the chief of staff to the president was forged. And then if you have seen the letterhead on which the so-called appointment was written, it shows that the State House letterhead was also forged State House letterhead. Because on the State House letterhead, there is no contact telephone address or contact telephone number on State House letterhead. On his own, on his purported appointment letter, there is, so anybody who understands the way the system works, we know that this is pure scam and forged document.
Well, in the meantime, an independent investigation by a civil society organization, Good Governance Group, has uncovered a far more alarming layer to this story. While Prince Adeyemi, the DG of the fake agency, was arrested in October 2025 and charged in November 2025, the budget code titled Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council was quietly inserted into the 2026 executive budget during the very same months with a 1.3 3 billion naira allocation. And here is the crucial detail that explains how it slipped through. The name Presidential Economic Advisory Council was not invented. It was borrowed from a real Buhari-era body established in September 2019 with real members, a real mandate, and a legitimate place in government records that was never formally dissolved when Tinubu came to power. A budget reviewer seeing that name would not immediately flag it as suspicious because something by that name genuinely existed under a previous president. That is the camouflage. 10 specific program lines, detailed submissions written in correct budget language, and it survived every single review stage and was signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on April 17, 2026. 3 senior civil servants were officially posted to the fake agency by the Office of the Accountant General, sitting in an empty office for weeks with absolutely nothing to do. Ayo, this investigation reveals that Adeyemi allegedly borrowed the same name of a dormant Buhari-era body, inserted it into Nigeria's budget with 10 specific program lines. He secured office space at the Federal Secretariat and had 3 civil servants officially posted to him by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, all with a forged letter. And yet, despite being arrested in October 2025 and charged in November 2025, Adeyemi is not behind bars. Nigerians are asking so many questions. Ayo, Serap has responded, but I'd like your comment before I read part of Serap's response.
All right, thank you. So I think this is like an onion. Yes. The more you unravel, the more you see more to unravel, and many questions. Yeah. Now, the reason why it's important for us to get to the bottom of this matter and why, thankfully, we cannot afford to sweep it under the carpet is that it is such a huge, huge scandal, and it points to, even leave the scandalous part of it, is that it would also point us to areas that we institutionally need to address, where there are gaps, where there are holes, where there are opportunities for forgery. Because like Dr. Fagbemi, who was our guest earlier on, had said, it's like we need to now even protect the president, because if somebody can take on this level of fraud, how many more exist within the presidency? How many agencies are there that are fake? How many people are in positions where they are hosting international potential investors and do not have any kind of formal recognition, and it's a forward position? And then I dare say that you cannot embark on this level of forgery at the level of government that Mr. Adeniyi did without Prince. Well, we need to verify if he's really a prince, because now we have to really verify everything about the man and see to what extent he is true. But it would be a shock to me and surprising if a man like this can take on this kind of fraud without an insider. It would almost be impossible, because a few questions that have been asked in public space. Number one is that there was a budget defense that was done. Yes, I understand he used the name that existed, but who represented that agency in the budget defense? Was anybody there to represent if there was anything at all? Who signed the appointment letter? They say it was forged, but it means that someone can forge a document at that level and it would pass through to the extent of opening a CBN account. There are questions to be asked, and I'm sorry, heads have to roll. If not, we will not learn lessons, because how are we sure that the man that is standing behind the president protecting him was given an appointment letter that was not on a forged letterhead? It compromises. What I'm saying is, I'm just saying that if this can happen, anything can happen. And for the credibility of this government, they must find out and get to the bottom of this, so that we do not have thousands. We have ghost workers. Now we have forged agencies and workers, ghost agencies that should not exist and are receiving budgetary allocation. So for the good of this nation and to engender trust to the people, we have to get to the bottom. Who are those? In fact, Dr. Fabemi suggested earlier on that some principal people should go on administrative leave until this matter is fully addressed, investigated. Agencies are created by law, but okay, DG's office, the office of whatever it is that he was occupying. There are many areas where this happened, and if a fake well, they called it a fake agency. So whoever created the agency, if one could have existed and had such backings, including a CBN TSA account, questions must be asked, and we have to get to the bottom of this.
All right, I'll take a tweet from Sarah. They wrote, "We've urged the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, to urgently disclose certified copies of all documents relating to the consideration and approval of the allocation of over 1.3 billion naira to the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, Presidential Economic Advisory Council in the 2026 Appropriation Act. We also urge them to provide certified copies of records identifying the members of the National Assembly committees that considered the allocation and the names and official designation of all public officers or representatives who appeared before those committees to defend the proposed allocation. Nobody has a more sacred obligation to obey the law than those who make the law. The National Assembly ought to keep an eye on what the executive is doing and to keep the presidency and agencies of government in check, including before and during the appropriation process, by thoroughly scrutinizing executives' budget proposal before any authorization." I mean, very well said. For me, this is where the ball was dropped. At the National Assembly, the Budget Office, again, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. How did this slip the crack? You want to speak, Dr. Bategri?
Sarah is making that request under the FOI Act.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just enough to say this is what Serap is saying.
Correct.
But, you know, the application should go under the FOI Act.
Right.
And I hope that the National Assembly will respect that request.
Okay.
I think one part we're not talking about is, we keep saying, yes, this person dropped the ball. But there's been a mail trail hitherto. There's been constant correspondence between this fake agency, Office of the Accountant General, Office of this and that, even the Senate, as regards training and all of that. So everybody is complicit in this. It's deeper than you think. Because all those correspondents over the weekend are now coming out. So it's not just a new thing. Another question you should ask is, when the NIPC flagged it that you have a duplicity of duty, after the NIPC flagged it, the Chief of Staff minuted on it, and then this still went through in the budgets. That shows another layer of complicity. So when they keep calling this agency fake, they say, yes, agencies are created by law. I like to take that being fake with a pinch of salt. Because there were hitherto correspondence across all of this ecosystem. Another part of this puzzle, we need to now go back and investigate this Tani Mola person. The condition of his death, the credibility of his death. I mean, we all know the Gloria Okon situation in this country. Nigeria is a very interesting country. So the investigation is just even starting, if they allow it to happen.
Yes, you're right. The investigation is just
very ugly. It speaks to incompetence. It speaks to institutional failure and lack of credibility.
Yes. Well, the police is saying those fake correspondents have been identified as fake. So we need to see more of that sort of investigation. They have Temitope Ajayi says that the letter that he saw from the police says that Femi GBAJABIAMILA's letter was forged, his signature was forged, and in any case, it's not the office of the Chief of Staff that gives appointment letters. It is the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation that gives the appointment letter. So that settles that.
Now, the Arise TV News make breakdown. Now that VDM released a video call, I believe the Arise TV News will have to come back now that Adeyemi have spoken. Now, I want you guys to listen to Oshowore. Oshowore said that this Nigeria, I don't understand what is going on anymore, because people like him have been tried in court, but the main people that are putting Nigeria in perpetual bondage, stealing for the national treasury, they are working with security guards. And I want you guys to listen to what Oshowore said. We'll be right back.
We are talking about a country where characters are running fake agencies. And the people who are running the agencies are not being tried as we speak. I'm not talking about the guy who started. I'm talking about the people who he was paying money to, who are putting him in their budget. So you are living in that country. So you must, regardless of the hardship, we must resist the urge to be silent. I can't even imagine it, you know. And sometimes I honestly wish that Nigerians understand the power that they have. But it's not my job to force you to exercise your power. But it's my own duty to force myself to exercise my own powers to the best of my ability and regardless of the risks that are involved in it. So you can trust that one, regardless of how many times I'm sent to prison, you know. And one thing was clear today also. It is about how to make sure we're not talk. That's the whole thing. It's like, my Lord, can you make sure he doesn't talk? The judge had to say, I did not give an order that he should not talk. But it's all about, if you go to court today, those of you are there, I have already spoken about it. The chief of staff is a member of a gang of thieves. And I can say that categorically because I was the one who exposed when he stole $25,000 from a client in Atlanta, Georgia, when he was a lawyer, and his legal profession certificate was revoked as a result of that. That's how BAJABIAMILA ended in Nigeria. And to add a secret today, when I wrote that story, he asked Abike Dabiri to call me and asked if I could help him take down the story. I said no, because I'm writing for history. Today, you know where he's coming from. If I had compromised myself and taken down the story, you will not know that he's a thief.
Now you're listening to what Shiwore said. It didn't end there. I want you to pay good attention to what this man said on Arise TV News, so that you will understand that Nigeria, we don't even have a country anymore. This country is being ruled and run and controlled by monsters, people that don't have human sympathies. I want you guys to watch this video. We'll be right back.
It's institutional compromise, because in this, I sense there is quite a big racket going on. Somewhere along the line, I mean, if the agency was created by maybe one big man alone, and then he wants to go through the budget process, the budget office assigns the budget code according to the Charter of Accounting, GFMIS. So how did they manage to assign the budget code for this agency that does not exist? Who inserted? Because first of all, the budget office issues a budget circular to MDAs, and everybody starts to prepare his budget according to the budget line. They give you ceilings, you know, and you prepare your budget and forward it to the budget office as an agency or ministry. Now, the Ministry of Budget and Planning would, in our time, call every MDA to come and defend its budget. Now, if you don't exist, how do they recognize that you are?
That's a good point.
If you are a genuine entity, who gave out the budget code and allowed their budget to pass? If that system fails at the ministry level, there is an appropriation committee in the House of Rep. There's one in the in the Senate. At least one of them, when they are doing the budget oversight, or when they are preparing the budget, should be able to know that based on the chart of accounts, based on budget of last year, there's a new agency that has come up, which was not in last year's budget. How did it come about? You know, and they can flag it there and begin to trace. And then, of course, they will call the MDA to come and defend the budget.
And that's what oversight is about.
That is what oversight is. Yeah, they'll call it to come. In my own time, all the 23 agencies that report directly to the AGF, when it's time to defend the budget, I attend. I attend with the MDA that's going to defend the budget. So now, why would they not detect that this MDA reports to who? If that MDA is part of the presidency, that it reports to the president through the SGF, the SGF should be able to know, because before it gets to the National Assembly, that budget goes also.
Right. So in that regard, how much responsibility ultimately rests with the office of the Secretary to the government when something like this happens?
I can tell you, unless there's a dereliction of duty by the SGS office, the responsibility to flag that this is a fake agency would have come from them. But if after some time, maybe they feel so much sidelined that they don't care, they just look the other way because but the responsibility to flag that comes from the SGS office. It has to. I would do, if that happens to me, I'll go to the president. If you sideline me, I'll go to the president, I protest immediately. So nobody sidelines me because they know I don't accept it.
They know not to cross you.
Yeah, they know not to cross me. Yeah.
Now, you're listening to what he said. How many of you remember when we talked about it, except you didn't watch it, when VDM made this call with Adeyemi, the things that Adeyemi said in this video, how he was arrested, he was in prison. While in prison, the national budgets about the company were quickly forged, and the money, where the money goes, he didn't know. But now that fresh evidence came through VDM, the presidency hands are tight. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the sad man that don't talk when these people is dying. I want you guys to listen to what he said about the integrity and the confidence that he have in his chief of staff. We'll be right back.
I have absolute confidence on the integrity of my chief of staff. All the issues all campaign of calumny and insinuations should stop. The box stopped here. If I make mistake, I'm ready to own up to it.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, within the space of people dragging his chief of staff, he quickly organized a press conference. This is the same man that never speak when people are dying. When people die in Borno, people die in Benue, people die in Jos, when people are dying in Kano, when kidnapping are going on everywhere, this man will never release a statement. But he's quick to come out, say all those campaigns of canonies, as if he's an opposition that is accusing his chief of staff now. And you see that we don't have a country. That's why I respect this man so much. I want you guys to listen to what he said, that these are the components and the cabinet of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How corrupt are these 5G? The 5 corruptible people that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is working for. I want you guys to watch this video.
So I just spent the past couple of minutes thinking about my life as a Nigerian and why we seem to be moving in reverse gear. And I decided to revisit the profiles of some of our leaders in this country. And I thought to share that with you guys as well. Let's start with this man. His name is Femi Gbajabiamila. He is the current chief of staff to the president of Nigeria. In 2003, while practicing as a lawyer in the United States, in the state of Georgia, Gbajabiamila collected $25,000 on behalf of a client. And instead of giving that money to the client quickly, he withdrew the money, he closed his law practice in the United States, and he left the US. Eventually, there was a complaint, and he was suspended from practicing law in the state of Georgia for a couple of years. In 2020, his license to practice law in the state of Georgia was permanently terminated. Let's move on to this other person. His name is Senator Godswill Akpabio. He is the Senate President of Nigeria. Senator Godswill Akpabio has a pending case with the EFCC. He was accused of allegedly diverting over 100 billion naira. Till today, that case has neither been closed nor concluded. Let's move on to this other person. His name is Bello Matawalle. He's currently the Nigerian Minister of State for Defense. This man was accused of hosting terrorists in the Zamfara State Government House when he was the governor of Zamfara State. He was also accused of providing logistical support to terrorists while he was the governor of Zamfara State. But he currently serves as the Minister of State for Defense. Let's move on to the next person. This man's name is Ali Modu Sheriff. A particular senior advocate of Nigeria, accused Sheriff of sponsoring Boko Haram when he was the governor of Borno State. And this man remains a key stakeholder in the APC. He is someone that is actively speaking in support of President Tinubu. And finally, the Ogepatapata of them all, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He has multiple scandals, both local and international. Is it scandals surrounding identity? Is it scandals surrounding education? Is it scandals surrounding in the United States? I don't know where to start. And this man is the president of Nigeria. Meanwhile, I would like to introduce you guys to an amazing man known as Peter Obi. He has no corruption cases in Nigeria. He has no corruption cases abroad. He has no identity scandals. He has no academic scandals. And he needs your vote to save us from the first set of individuals that I introduced you guys to, who are currently governing Nigeria. So please, get your voters' cards and let's save this country. Cheers.
Anyway, what are your thoughts? Please let us know in the comment section. I rest my case here. I love you. God love you more. If you love us, the only way you can show your love to us, like this video, comment your thoughts, and share to your WhatsApp, to your friends, to your social media platform. But stay blessed. I love you guys. See you in our next video. Peace out.
Femi Gbaja was the one that wrote a petition against you, right?
Yes, sir. I said I'm willing and ready to help security agencies.
Okay.
Or panels taught by the Mr. President to unravel the truth. In fact, any moment from now, I will go to DSS or police to submit all the documents I have
Mm-hmm.
to help them investigate and look into this matter.